Welcome to the Modernize or Die podcast, CFML News Edition, where we keep you up to date with everything going on in the Cold Fusion community. We'll share the latest news on events, releases to engines, frameworks, libraries, and tools, as well as spotlighting quality content from the community. Welcome to the Modernize or Die podcast, CFML News Edition. It's episode 208, and it's December 5th, 2023. I can't believe it. We blinked and 2023 is gone. Oh, hold on a second. I got an audio issue. Hold on. Sorry.
Audio issue on my end.
Oh, now speak.
Hello?
Yep, there we go. Sorry. I just didn't have you there, so sorry. There we go. Grant was there. We missed up a little bit, but he's here. So thanks everybody for joining us.
I didn't say much other than 2023 is gone bye-bye for the most part.
Yep. Hi and bye for sure. Crazy it snuck up on us there. But yeah, we're in the holiday season. Got kids' holiday show tonight and band next week, and everything's wrapping up here. But we got some good news for you guys, so thanks for joining us. Good to see you, David, in the chat there. So, hello. But yeah, let's get on with the show. So first, let's thank our sponsor, Order Solutions, the makers of CommandBox, CommandBox, ForgeBox, TestBox, and all your favorite boxes out there. And as usual, we give you ways so you can say thanks to Order Solutions. Some are free and some are paid. The first one, buy tickets to Into the Box 2024. We're going to be in Washington, D.C. in May. And if you go to intothebox.org, you can get all the information for that. And we'll tell you a little bit more in the conference section. But also, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that way you guys will get notifications when we go live. And you guys can come and check us out and then heckle us like David does. Just kidding.
Yes, and help Ortus reach for the stars. You can star and fork our repos over on GitHub. We've got a bunch of them. So star all of your GitHub box dependencies from CommandBox. We actually have a CommandBox tool you can use to do that automatically. So we'll post the link to that. And you can also subscribe to our podcast on your podcast apps and leave us a review, and we will read it on the show. So that's another way. And sign up for a free or paid account over on CFCast, which we are releasing new content regularly. We're going to talk a little bit about that more here in a bit. And we also have our Box Life store. It's been a while since I've been over there, but the last time I checked, we had coffee mugs and shirts and all kinds of cool stuff over there.
Yep, some new designs too. I got one on right now.
Really?
I'm not sure if that one's there or not, but that one's the GOT Convention shirt. It's pretty cool.
Nice. I will have to look into that. And we also have some Ortus books that we have available. So 102 Cold Box quick tips and tricks. We've got that up on Gumroad. So take a look at that if you're interested. And that book actually is up on Amazon now. And then we also have Learn Modern Cold Fusion CFML in 100 plus minutes. And we have a free online version that you can check out, but we also have it available as an ebook or a paper copy. So whatever format you prefer, we have it available. So those are the ways that you can say thanks back to Order Solutions.
Yep, and the CommandBox HMVC Quick Tips and Tricks has got a hardcover copy version on Amazon, which is super slick. So we really like that. We got that at the CF Summit. We did the training, and everyone got a hard copy. It was pretty slick. That was the first time seeing it, so super cool. And then, well, again, of course, we can't, thank our sponsors out, thanking our Patreon supporters. So we have 42 Patreons, and if you go to patreon.com/ordersolutions, you can find out more about all the different packages, and we'll tell you a little bit more about some of the perks and some of our top Patreons at the end of the show. But thank you, Patreons. So let's move on to the first section, and in this section, we're going to talk about some news and announcements. And so I know there's been a lot of vulnerabilities flying around this year, and a lot of people have been talking about, making sure your Cold Fusion is up to date and everything, and that is always 100% accurate. But I didn't know the name, but the CISA released advisory threats actually released some information, and I'll share my screen for those who are watching. Um, basically about here we go, this one here. The Cold Fusion floor exploited a U.S. government agency. So they actually released the information about that attack. And so this was released December 5th. And so if you go look through here, it'll actually tell you. So they attacked the federal civilian executive branch. And they're basically, highlighting it. But the cool thing about this post, that goes into the details of the incidents. So they went through network logs to find the issues and everything, and they talked about the tactics used and what they did and how they did it. And so this is valuable information. But the big takeaway from this is that you have to patch your service, right? So exploit. I think,
Otherwise, everyone now knows.
yeah. Now they actually released the update for this back in March. So they released the update in March, and in June and July they were exploited. And so there's another blog post here, which we'll share as well. And that one's basically talking about some of the other issues. Oh man, the link is too long to post. That's kind of crazy. Maybe if I take this one out here. But yeah, basically it's got share my screen again. I think it's easiest. But this one here goes into more detail on everything too. It talks about which versions are vulnerable. So update 5 and earlier. So if you haven't patched the November version, which isn't even on the coldfusion.adobe.com site, there's no blog post there talking about the updates, which is kind of crazy. But, basically the November updates are what will protect you. So these ones here, these are the new vulnerabilities. You can look at all their reports and metrics and everything else. So there's some pretty scary numbers and graphs here. So I definitely want to recommend checking it out. So these are the updates. These are the versions you need to be running. If you're not running them, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, they're basically 3 out of 3. So this is the highest priority. And so obviously there's some advertising for their tools too. But yeah, it's pretty big, pretty important. So make sure you're updating those. These are big government agencies getting messed up. So now Scott is asking, is Lucy vulnerable to these? I know Lucy did some security checks and patches. I think a lot of it was to do with WDDX and XML exploits. And so they did make some changes for things, but I know Adobe was very vulnerable because that's the bigger engine. Most people have found them, and we're working vulnerabilities there. So I think Lucy patched up the stuff that was similar and possibly affected. So I think we're good, but definitely keep up on the Lucy updates too. They posted some posts, and I think in the next section we have new releases and updates. We mentioned some more information there, so we'll send the links out for those as well. So anyway, just reminding everybody that security is scary. Make sure you patch your servers. So
It is very scary.
yep. Okay. So next up, we got some better news, right?
We do. Ben Nadell has been working on a book about feature flags. This is something I've been wanting to dig into. It's really cool idea and a way to implement features in your apps. And Ben's been blogging about it for a long time now. But he's written a book, and he's released it under early access. So he's got a version that's available for purchase. It's a PDF currently, and he says it's still kind of early stages and a bit rough, but he's got it ready. It's all the content is there, and you can go and purchase it at a deep discount. So that hence why it's early access. And if you do purchase it, you'll get automatically get access to any future releases that he does on that. So I thought that was pretty cool. That's something I've just really been wanting to dive into, and I keep hearing more and more about feature flags.
Yep, and we use them with a few
Not just from
clients.
Ben,
Yeah,
not just from Ben, but mostly from Ben.
yeah. I mean, he usually uses LaunchDarkly with Envision app, where he's been working for a long time, and so he talks about that a lot. But one of the cool things is that Brad has written LaunchDarkly connector So we've used that for a couple of clients. We wrote some stuff for them. And then we have Unleashed SDK, which is another feature flag tool. Not quite as fancy as LaunchDarkly, but it's, sort of free and open source if you host your own. And so there's some good options out there. And, other people have even written their own little ones. And it's more than just Boolean flags, So for those of you who haven't
Yeah.
seen it, definitely go check them out. It's pretty cool. And having the live flick a switch without having to because most people say if this is going to be turned on or off, we'll turn it on with a environment variable, but then you have to reload your redeploy your application with a new environment variable for everything to be activated. And feature flags allow you to do it where you can say, okay, 10% of my traffic will do this, or just people from this domain will get this feature. And then as you roll it out, you can say, oh, this feature is working great for those people. Let's open it up to more. And there's a lot of stuff in feature flags. It's not just should I show this or not, or is it deployed or not? So it's very cool. And if you want to find out more, Working Code Pod is the podcast Ben's on, and he talks about his book. And so if you listen to the last maybe 5 or 10 episodes, you'll hear some, the background story on the book and how it's been going and stuff. But that's why Ben's blog has been a little dry lately, because he's been working on the book. So he says he's back with a vengeance, and there's 2 or 3 blogs today. So we'll see those soon. Okay, so as we mentioned, new releases and updates. Update your servers with a below updates.
Yes. So as Gavin mentioned earlier, we've got some Adobe November updates, security fixes. So Adobe for Cold Fusion 2023, there's update 6, and for 2021, there's update 12. And also keep in mind, previous versions are no longer receiving security updates, as I understand it. So
Yeah,
you'll
2016,
definitely
etc. They're done.
yeah. So you'll definitely want to upgrade. Uh, we do, if you're using CommandBox, you should already have these updates being pulled in. I don't know, is there a certain command or anything? You just have to
It depends. If
specify.
as long as your version isn't pinned to a specific version, so if you actually pinned it to 2023 update 3, for example, you wouldn't get 4, 5, and 6. But if you just have 2023, then it will update. So it uses Semver to grab them. So yep, and John and Brad worked really hard to get those out right away, especially security. We always, put a top priority on getting those out as soon as we can. And there is a blog post that Charlie wrote with some more details on it, and so that's in the show notes and added in the chat as well. So
Nice.
good to have there. And then another one, just in case you missed it, CommandBox 7.2.0 was released, so lots of goodies in there. We've got a whole bunch of new pieces out there too, so it includes, when we release CommandBox, we always update the version of Wirebox, Cachebox, and Logbox. Even though you can use those by themselves without CommandBox, you can obviously install CommandBox to get them, or if you're just using Wirebox separately, you might want to see the new features there too. So Wirebox and Cachebox have some improvements. CommandBox has 10 new features, 6 improvements, and a few bug fixes, and Logbox has 3 new features, 4 improvements, and a couple of bug fixes too. So lots of cool stuff in there. So go check that out if you haven't. And I think they've already done a minor release. Someone noticed an issue with one of the packages, so we've updated that already too. So, but the blog post is in the chat. You guys can check that out. Okay, webinars, meetups, and workshops. So you guys are scared. You should be. Cold Fusion security training with Pete Freitag is a great place to go. Learn all about other things, not just updating your servers, but what other things people might be doing to maliciously, get into your code and give you trouble. Pete always scares the bejesus out of everybody. So he has a training workshop next week. So next Tuesday and Wednesday, so the 12th and the 13th. And he's running as a 2-3-hour block. So there's a 3-hour block on the Tuesday, a 3-hour block on the Wednesday. So it's basically like a 1-day workshop split over 2 days. And it's a great training. I've taken a version of it previously. He basically has a mock bank website up, and he does all this cool stuff, and you sort of get to basically try to break it. He shows you how. You go break it, and then you go fix it so that you can't break it anymore. And he works through it. And before Docker was big, we used to use VMs, and it was pretty cool. He gave you a VM with all the stuff you needed. So, Pete does great trainings. Highly, highly recommend this one. So go check it out if you want more information.
Yeah, definitely knows his stuff. So great content. And it looks like in terms of webinars, looks like we've got the Hawaii Cold Fusion meetup group that's coming up, and with our very own Eric Peterson. He's going to be doing a session on inertia JS and cold fusion, and that is December 15th. And if you don't know, a inertia JS is a module that Eric has put together that you can pull into your CommandBox app, and it makes it very easy to build modern reactive apps and do it in a way where it's much easier than trying to build a backend API um, and do all that stuff. You can just integrate with CommandBox the way that it already is. So if you're using Vue or Vue.js, it works really great for that. So definitely be sure to check that out.
Yeah, so it works with like turbo links and kind of like the whole Livewire stuff, right? Very similar sort of result, just a different way of getting there. But yeah, you can make your app more spa-like basically by being a server rendered app. It's pretty cool. So I know that CFCast was built in that too. So if you guys like the way CFCast work and everything, it's a good example, and maybe Eric will show off some of that or a demo app just like it. But it's pretty cool. And if you guys are looking, I definitely recommend looking at the inertia.js stuff, and then obviously CBWire is great as well. And Grant knows all about that. He's the one that helped us build that. And yeah, I really like CBWire. It's like you've done a great job there and all the other bits and pieces. And speaking of CBWire, in CFCast, you've got a pretty good little series that you've released there. And so if you guys haven't seen CFCast, it's our content library. We got a lot of data, video libraries, lots of series with tons of videos. And most recently, we just released Into the Box 2023 videos. So now they're available for all paid subscriptions. So basically all the videos from Into the Box are available. There are several of them that are free. So if you just sign up and get a free membership, you can still see some of them. And there's a lot of great content in there. And again, Grant, you released, I think, 5 or 6 videos already from the Mastering CBWire series. Do we have some more coming soon?
We did. We've got more coming. They're being edited. So, and it's on my to-do list. But yes, we've got more CBWire content coming. So if you are using CBWire or interested in it, definitely check it out. We're going to get into all the way from just getting started with CBWire to actually getting into some advanced concepts and how to use it.
Yeah, it's very cool. I really like the documentation. Grant's got a lot of examples and stuff in there. Really, really cool to see. So highly recommend that one as well. And again, compare and contrast inertia.js, see what fits best, and see if that's the route you want to take, or if you're going to go full JS on the front end and tie it into an API traditionally, like so much of us have done. But I tell you, if inertia.js and CBWire were around when we made that move, I probably would have done a whole lot more in those. But kind of stuck in the Vue land for a lot of projects these days. But they're all great. So, but yeah, it's definitely very cool.
I know Eric is super busy. We need to get. I don't know if he has a inertia.js series yet. I don't think he does.
No, I know he's
We've got
working on
videos
Elixir.
but
Yeah,
I don't think we have a inertia.js series yet. We'll have to bug him about it.
Yep, there's so much good content out there. And if you guys are out there and you're looking for certain things, I know a lot of people have been requesting Elixir stuff lately. So Elixir has been something that Eric's been working on, but again, very busy. We're always, busy with a lot of things. But if you give us the feedback and say these are the things you're most interested with, we'll listen and try to get those videos, at top of the queue. So, but that wraps up LCF Cast. Again, a lot of free content and paid. Okay. So next up, we have our conferences. And so Into the Box Latam was this week, November 30th. And that was held at the University of Business in El Salvador. And Grant, you got to go. So you want to tell us a little bit about how that went? And
I got to go and visit, also presented, and it was awesome. I've actually never been out of the country outside of like a cruise. So this was a whole new experience for me going to El Salvador. And it was wonderful. Everybody I interacted with down there was incredibly nice and warm. And we had a really great turnout at the Into the Box down there. We had some great sessions, got some good feedback. The food is amazing. So yeah, I was kind of sad to leave when we had to come back, but yeah, hopefully maybe I'll get invited back next year. So if you're down in El Salvador, you're interested in traveling there, it was a great conference. So very cool stuff.
Yep. Sorry, guys. Looks like we're having a little lag. Apparently, the connection looks excellent um, according to YouTube Studio, but maybe there's something else going on. So I apologize for that. But maybe I'll have to mess with the buffering lady. I'm sorry, everybody. But we also had Into the Box. No, sorry, not Into the Box. Adobe had their summit in India this last week, and so there wasn't a whole lot said up on Twitter, but I did see something. So let me throw up my local screen here. So there was one of the presenters here. So, but yeah, basically that happened last week. Hopefully we'll get some more information from Mark Takata so we can share about it. And I did look for any blog posts about it, but I didn't see anything just out yet. So, but it looks like they were gearing up for a big one after not being there for a few years with COVID and everything else. So, it's a free one for everyone in India, and they're hoping to get some good numbers. So, fingers crossed they delivered, and hope it was a great success for everybody. Now we also have Into the Box coming up next year. So 2024. You want to tell us about where that is, Grant?
It is. We have the location now. It is at Optica in Washington, D.C. And we have a blog post that we've put out there that gives some details on the venue and dates. It is May 15th through the 17th. So
Yep.
we will
Sorry.
we will be putting on another Into the Box. I feel like we're between that and the one in Into the Box Latam. I feel like we're doing more and more.
Yep. And the cool thing is, if you are gonna go, the blind tickets should still be available right now. We're just closing the speaker submission, so we're gonna have the schedule out soon. So if you can get your tickets before we put the schedule out, then the blind ticket prices are really good. So if you basically purchase before you know who's gonna be there, then you get a pretty good deal. So as I said, we are working on trying to get all the sessions decided and workshops decided. We got some great submissions from the community, so thank you everybody who submitted, and we should have that information soon. Our goal is to get it out so you guys can get your planning in, get your budgets approved. So yeah, so hopefully we can get everybody out there Into the Box in DC. I've only been to DC once. I went to the Dev Objective when they changed the name and moved to DC. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun walking around at night, seeing the Washington Monument and, watching the sunset and sunrise on the monuments around there. So it was very cool, and it was a good conference too. But it's very, very, very cool. I'm hoping to spend a little more time there this time and actually see some more of the museums and everything. So excited. But if you guys want more conferences while you wait for these ones, get the comps.tech. There's a huge list of conferences for all different communities, languages. Yeah, we'll just have to go from there. So again, sorry everybody that apparently it's really bad. So yeah, my internet must be in and out, so I do apologize. So we'll continue anyway. We can post the recording so people can watch later. So okay. Okay, so next up we have some blogs, tweets, and videos of the week. And in that we have the first one, which we talked about already, the Adobe Cold Fusion floor exploited in the U.S. government agency attacks. So there's more information there. And so I'll put that in the show notes. And then we got a few more from Ben. Like I said, he finished his book, right? So he's got a few more blog posts for us to read, right, Grant?
Back on the blog. Yep. So yeah, Ben Nadell posted a blog post about multivar assignments in a single line. in Cold Fusion. So many of you may know that you can assign multiple variables on a single line, and you've been able to do that for some time. But Ben was, I guess, experimenting with this and found that you can actually var scope multiple variables and assign them all at the same time on a single line, and create function local variables. And I think he just really kind of wanted to comment on how that was strange to him and wanted to see what the behavior was. And from what I understand, it works both in Adobe CF and Lucy, and the behavior is the same. So yeah, check out that blog post if you're interested in that. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know that you could do that. I didn't think about the VAR scope, but that's kind of cool that it accepts that too. Sometimes the
Yeah,
compiler stuff will, get messed up on weird stuff like that. So that's cool that it was working.
yeah, it was literally taking, like, you could say like var A equals, and then do var B equals, and then give them the value, and it will assign both of them and actually do it as local variables to your functions.
Very cool. So next up, we have another one from Ben reflecting on the natural language operators. And I'm going to have to share my screen for this one because I knew about, obviously, most of the natural language operators. We used a lot of them in the old code. That's what you had to do in tags. You couldn't even use some of the new ones. But there's a lot more than I didn't know, I didn't even know about. So someone mentioned the other day on the Lucy Div forum about starts with and ends with operators. I was like, wait, what? Because most you've done like is, or maybe equal, or EQ, or NEQ for, not equal to. But I didn't know you could do, is, equal, contains, does not contain, not equal, greater than, spelled out as full words, less than or equal to. Like, that's 5 words. And Cold Fusion still does that? Like, that still works? That's kind of crazy. So basically, those natural language operators, they're the same as the computer science versions, and it's pretty interesting. So I thought it was very cool that there was some there, but I didn't know it starts with and ends with operators. So basically, these are some of the different things. So starts with, does not start with, ends with, does not end with. I was like, that would have been really nice to know. So, oh, he's saying they don't have those. Whoops, my bad. I thought he was saying that we did have them. So, but yeah, but there's a lot of cool stuff in there. But really good blog post. Check that one out too. Like I said, I learned some stuff. Obviously, I skimmed over it a little quickly because I thought they said we already had those. And oh, James is here saying var assignment syntax seems confusing. He's not sure what the overall benefit would be. But the other one, he said he believes ACF throws an error when using is not, which is interesting too.
I
So,
agree, James. I don't really know what the benefit is of the multi-assignment var assignments on a single line, but I think it was more interesting to me that it worked, and also worked on both Adobe and Lucy, because I would assumed it would have just failed. So it's, a lot of us have been doing CFML for a long time, and it's just one of those, it's like still learning stuff every day you didn't know before.
yeah, and Scott says the only time you use it is for like variable assignments, be setting defaults. It doesn't happen very often. I know in the old days, like Java, you couldn't just create one, use one. You usually had to assign them all at the top of the function. So you'd var scope everything at the very top of your function, and so you'd basically set a whole bunch. And if you're setting them all to like empty string just so they're existing, it's kind of annoying to have to do 6 lines when you just do one. And JavaScript, I think, does it too. And so it's probably one of those like, yeah, we should follow everybody else and do that. So, but yeah, but I don't use it at all. I knew you could do some of it in other var scoping work, but anyway. There was also a tweet by Cameron Childress. Childress, I don't know how to pronounce it. Apologies, but he linked to a blog post, and he said, this is a pretty solid write-up about refactoring a legacy stateful app into a stateless one. And he says, I'm looking at you, Cold Fusion developers. And so he shares this one here about this, and talks about different applications. So a stateful architecture versus a stateless architecture, and different ways to sort of approach it, So obviously we're sort of spoiled with Cold Fusion. We can just throw stuff in the application scope and the session scope and everything else. And so it's really easy to to sort of code in the stateful way. But with these days of everything being so distributed and everything, moving towards stateless is sort of a pretty cool trend, and means you can make your apps way more dynamic and distributable, and things like queues running and everything else can kind of run better if it's in a stateless setup. And so it's an interesting one. So something we should probably think about more if we're going to start handing jobs off to S3 and the step functions like Brian Class is always talking about. So, but yeah, so good little one there if you guys want to check that out. Educate yourselves on the difference between stateless and stateful architectures.
Yeah, and we have another Ben Nadel blog on the regex of everyday things. And in this, Ben goes into talking about regular expressions, about how he's been using them for 20 plus years. And, just I think his experience with them, but also he's put in a lot of regex expressions that you can use. So really kind of like a long cheat sheet that you can use as a reference if you're looking to get into regular expressions or just need a refresher. Go check that out.
Yeah, VS Code is a really nice option just to flick your search into regex mode. Obviously, you can use regex in Cold Fusion too. You can use the Cold Fusion one, or you can drop down to Java as well. So there's some good options out there. But yeah, it's kind of neat that he's got this little cheat sheet, and I will be using this because there's a lot of things in here that I forget how to do, and I have to go Google it. And for those of you that do want more help with stuff like that, I think regexer.com is one that Scott Steinbeck always tells me about. Nope, forgot it. So maybe it's regexer. There we go, regexer. So this one here is kind of neat. So as you type out your expression, you've got all the different, so cheat sheets on the left-hand side, but it actually breaks it down and shows you with the text what it's searching, and then the tools and everything. So it's really cool to be able to go through, look at the replace list, details, explain. A really nice tool for all of that. And you can change the type as well. So depending on what you have, you can change it up, and it's really neat. So highly recommend checking that one out too. But Ben's post is a really good one. So thanks, Ben, for sharing that one. And we did already mention his feature flags book. So there is a blog post about that, which we shared earlier. So I'll just share the link again for those who came in a little late. And obviously it's in the show notes as well. And I think Daniel Garcia bought the book. He said he was reading through it and he was really enjoying it. So I know a lot of people have snatched that one. Again, we also mentioned that the SOC radar released that the CISA alert basically right today. I think it was posted. No, that was from 11/23. Sorry. So this is when the updates came out. So and these links are so big, you can't even post them in the YouTube chat. There we go. So check that one out as well. Again, just update your servers. If you're using CommandBox, it should be pretty easy just to start the server again. You'll be there. But the updates are a lot better. And again, Charlie Earhart has a detailed explanation and sort of walkthrough on all those. So always check out his blog for that. Okay, last but not least, we have a tweet.
Yeah, this is from back in later November, right before it's like Thanksgiving or around it. But it is Unleash the Power of a Headless CMS with our own Luis Mahano. And I believe this was something he presented at Web 2023.
Yep.
So that link, I hadn't checked it yet. Does that actually go to show the presentation, or just
shows a picture of him on stage at the Web in Europe. So Luis, living in Spain now, is attending more European conferences, and the Web is a pretty cool sounding conference. They got lots of good content, a good mixture of things, and so yeah, it's good to see he's trying to get the language Cold Fusion out there to more people in more places. That's part of the reason we did the Into the Box to TAM, is to spread the word down there. And it's kind of cool because down there they learn a lot about Java and everything else. And so when we come in with CFML and they haven't really heard of it or seen it before, they're excited to see all the power that CFML can give them. And So everyone's very receptive to CFML down in El Salvador and Latam. So it just
And just
shows.
I hadn't mentioned it before, but just an observation in that down at the conference in El Salvador, a lot of the attendees were, younger developers. I say younger, I mean some of us were, again, we've been doing this a while, and a lot of familiar faces at some of our conferences. But down there, some younger developers that either don't know CFML or just getting into it, and so it's really cool to see them get excited about it and learning, these tools that we've grown to love and use every day.
Yeah, for sure. So next up, we have Find a Job. So there are several positions available on getcfmljobs.com. It's a great place to post your job options, and we highlight those every time we do the podcast. So right now they have about 112 Cold Fusion positions available from 68 companies across 48 locations in 5 countries, and we've had 3 in the last couple of weeks. And the first one I want to mention is actually one from Peter Mary. So Peter Mary, who's been working with the CF Wheels team for a while now, he's got a job posting that he wanted us to highlight. So I'm going to open that and I'll share it locally. But that is something he wanted to, and is one of our Patreons. He gets a little special treatment, so we'll give him a little bit more information here for you guys. So he's looking for a full-time, full stack developer, proficient in Cold Fusion as well as modern web technologies. So he's looking for someone with long-term opportunity, growth, flexible work environment, competitive salary, great benefits. If you're motivated, work equally well with a team and individually, and you bring innovative solutions and ideas, that's a great opportunity for you. So they listed several states for the location. That's kind of nice. But yeah, they've got a lot of responsibilities here, some skills. It does require you to be authorized to work in the United States. And obviously there's a long laundry list of things here, what they would like and what they would prefer you to have. But yeah, so Peter Mary's been doing a lot of great work, the CF Wheels teams and everything else. And if you want to look, this is a good opportunity. It's a good guy. If you want, reach out to him. He's on the CFML Slack. Ask him a couple more questions about it. But that job posting will be posting right now, so you guys can check that out, and it'll be in the show notes as well. And again, CFMLJobs.com. GetCFMLJobs.com is a great place to post and find that information. We have a couple more posts as well. Do you want to tell us about those, Grant?
We do. On December 1st, we had a posting for a full-time mid-web applications developer, and that's in India. And I was checking here, I was reading through, I'm not sure, I believe that's on site. I don't know that it's remote. But we did see that posted. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out. And then we also had a web application developer, Cold Fusion, posted for Phoenix, Arizona. And I'm not sure what company that was. I'm sure to pull that up. Do you happen to know, Gavin? On the second one there? Sure. Oh, Ibis Technologies.
Ibis. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that was posted just about a week ago. And then other job links, there's a job channel in the CFML Slack team and in the Box team Slack now too. So that's another place where you can find these job postings.
Okay, very cool. Next up, we have our ForgeBox module of the week, and this week it's a new one that just got posted, and Brad actually retweeted it, but it's called CommandBox API Man. So
yes,
I'll share my screen for those watching. Go ahead, Grant.
So it is a curl-like application that you can execute directly from CommandBox's command line. So if you're wanting to, pull in content and do that using something similar to curl, but you don't want to have to install curl, you can pull this in. It's got a bunch of different command line arguments that you can pass to it. So you can pass query params, cookies, headers, form fields, all kinds of stuff.
Yep, pass data, user, password information, and you can also ask to show headers for the requests as well. The cool thing is that yeah, you can actually have the query params inside the URL that you're requesting, or you can put them separately as well. So that's one of the flags for that. So it's kind of cool. You get it back in a certain format. But yeah, it's obviously a work in progress. He's just released it just a few days ago, but it's kind of nice to be able to pull that stuff back in and use it, programmatically. So very cool. So a couple of examples there in the README, including how to get stuff from Stripe. If you want to put in username, password, etc. inside your command, you could do that too. So if you're running like some reporting tools or whatever you're putting inside of CommandBox, sounds like a great little way to do that. So again, it's CommandBox API Man. So pretty cool little tool. And yeah, thanks for creating that. And then I'm just getting it, make sure I got the name right here. So Robert Ziender. I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry about that, Robert. But thanks again for creating that and adding it to ForgeBox. So we appreciate it. And it's a cool little module. So next up, we have our VS Code hints, tips, and tricks of the week. And this one is pretty interesting, I think. When I saw it, I'm like, I have to see what the heck this is talking about. It's called Gremlin Tracker. So Gremlin Tracker for VS Code. This visual code extension reveals some characters that can be harmful because they're invisible or they look like legitimate ones. And so I'll share my screen while you give us a few features here. And then we can.
I mean, they kind of already had you with the name, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, but I mean, for those watching, look at the icon. It's a real gremlin, and you see it in VS Code. So, but yeah,
So some of the features they have listed is that it will display a red bar when there are certain characters in the code that are essentially harmful or bad. So when there is a zero width space, or if there's a zero width, it says non-joiner in the code, the extension will show a red bar. And it looks like it also will highlight or show non-breaking spaces, and I guess just some things that maybe you're not seeing in the editor itself, but that are there that are hidden. Is that kind of the idea of it, Gavin?
yeah. So a lot of times we get weird bomb things, or you'll get like they said the zero width space, or the that's like the Unicode 200B or whatever. So a lot of times you copy paste
Yeah.
things from one place to another, you get these weird characters, and it's so hard to see them. A lot of times I got to copy paste them to an online tool to try to find them. And one of those things is like smart quotes when you copy from Word. They're double quotes, but they get converted to a Microsoft Smart Quote, and then that doesn't get treated the same way by other things. And so a lot of things are hard to see. And so it's kind of cool though. The red bar means it's bad. Some things like the non-breaking spaces or those left and right double quotation marks or whatever, they'll show up as orange, and then other things that you might want to know they're there, but they're not bad, they show up as blue. And so if you put your mouse over it, like in the picture here, it'll tell you that like it's a zero width space and there's Unicode. And a lot of times you get weird stuff back from APIs, and like you just can't tell what's in it. But throwing it in here will give you some of those options. And there's little gremlin icons in there by the numbers for the line numbers, so that's kind of cool. So right there in the gutter, you'll show one of the gremlin characters if there's a gremlin on that line, so it makes it easy to identify, which is pretty cool. And of course, the cool thing is you can add more gremlin characters. So if there's certain ones that you want, like there's a form feed one, so 000C, which is a zero width of true, the description, and then the overview rule color, so you can give it the color you want. As an example here, and there's a bunch of Unicode characters you could add. And then of course you can make them language specific too. So, Markdown might have certain requirements that other things don't, so there's certain things that might be good for one language and you can ignore another. And so this allows you in Markdown, for example, to have the 00C be one thing, but then, ignore the non-breaking space character in Markdown files. And again, you can hide the gutter character as well, but you can also make it show up in the problems pane. So if you want to change the setting, then it'll be in your problems pane as well. And again, it's got the red, orange, and blue, so you can see the differences here and see which one is actually found, which is pretty cool. And I think I have another tool which shows line endings and stuff, but you could do that as well. And so It's based off of the Sublime one, but I thought it was kind of neat. So I haven't actually
Yeah.
used that one yet, but I saw that. I'm like, I'm gonna install that one because it definitely happens. So that's one of those things that.
Well,
Go ahead.
unfortunately, I wasn't able to see your shared screen, so I didn't get to see all the gremlins, but
Yeah.
I'll check that out. I will
Oh
say
yeah.
that these issues, it seems like any bugs that are related to this sort of stuff, they're the hardest to run down because you're not getting any sort of you're often not getting like a syntax error or anything that it's going to bubble up in Cold Fusion or, one of the engines. And so sometimes trying to chase these things down can take a long time. So I
Yep.
could see where having a tool would be very helpful.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, even if they're allowed in that language, then put an exception or a rule or whatever. But a lot of times, like if you're doing SQL stuff, some SQL tools won't let you use double, quotes for strings. You have to use quotes for column names and single quotes for variables and stuff. So, little things like that could be useful to be able to paste it down based on a language or whatnot. So, but anyway, again, there's a little extension. Try it out and tell us what you think. Yeah, I wonder what other characters James Moberg has on his list of things that he likes to search for and remove. Sure, he's got a few. Okay, last but not least, so we want to thank our Patreon supporters.
We do. So these individuals are personally supporting our open source initiatives to ensure tools like CommandBox, ForgeBox, ColdBox, ContentBox, TestBox, and all of our other boxes keep getting the development that they need and also the funds for our cloud infrastructure that the community relies on, such as ForgeBox for package management and CommandBox. So we just want to say thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you want to help us and support us, we've got a link we'll post in the chat to help us and become a Patreon.
Cool, cool. Yep, and I actually think that the issues that we're seeing inside of YouTube is actually on the viewing side, not the recording side, because all my stream stuff says it's super healthy, but the recording is showing a video from like 10, 15 minutes ago, so I think it's might be on their side. So again, apologies everybody for those issues. But yeah, so again, as Grant was saying, you can find out more on the patreon.com site/order solutions because we have some cool perks. So if you do sign up for annual memberships, you can save 10% if you pay for the year. And that's good for everybody, especially businesses who want to try and use up their budget and support, someone like us, Order Solutions, which we try and build lots of cool tools for everybody. So, but if you get a bronze package and up, you now get that ForgeBox Pro and the CFCast subscription as a perk. And you also get a couple of other things. So all Patreon supporters get their profile badge on the community website, and all Patreon supporters have their own private forum on that community website. And we also added a Slack channel a while ago on the Box Team Slack. So if you guys go in there, there's a Patreon channel which you guys get to ask a few questions, and we might run some ideas and bounce them off you periodically in there as well. So if you guys are Patreon supporters and haven't got the invite or whatnot for those, let us know, because maybe the email addresses don't match up or something, but we'll get you into the community forum, special private forum, as well as the Box Team Slack channel as well. And if you want to find out more about everything Ortus, the community site is a great one for that. So community.ordersolutions.com. Go check that out. But we just want to thank our top Patreons. So we've got a few top Patreons we want to highlight. There are too many to go through every week, so we just want to spotlight a few of them here. So I'll start with John Wilson from Synatrix, Tomorrow's Guides, and Jordan Clark.
And we've also got Gary Knight, Giancarlo Gomez, David Bellinger, who's here with us in the chat. Thank you, David. We've got Dan Card, James Moberg, who's also here. Thank you, James. And Jeffrey McGee there with Sunstar Media, Dean Monder, Kevin Wright, Doug Kane, Nolan Irk, and Abdul Ryan. So thank you guys so much for your support of what we're doing. We appreciate it, and it really helps us out.
Yep, and we have many more patrons, as we mentioned. They should all be up on the website, ordersolutions.com/about-us/sponsors. So you can find more about it there. And yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I blame YouTube. But appreciate you guys making the time to come out here and watch us. And happy holidays to everybody. And enjoying your festivities, whichever they might be.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.
Have a good one. Bye. Show notes for this episode can be found at cfmlnews.modernizeordie.io, where you can also subscribe to your favorite podcast player like Spotify or iTunes. We also have the link to YouTube to find more videos just like this. The music used in this podcast is under a royalty-free license from Sound.com and Blue Tree Audio.